You're now tuning in to 13signsastrology.com. I want to greet you all in the greeting words of peace and namaste and hotep. On this episode, what I'm going to be doing is that I want to just kind of introduce you to some of it. It's kind of based on the interview that me and the sister did. She asked me, or I asked her actually, if I was to do an episode on something, what would she want me to cover? And she said cloning is something that she wanted me to cover. And I've done episodes on cloning. However, I guess I've never really done like the topic justice to kind of like start from a point and kind of take you to a history of like this whole cloning thing. So what I'll do here is that I'll go ahead and do the kickoff and kind of get you like, adjusted to how I look at the topic or whatever as far as cloning and like where we came from. And, you have all of these different tribes because like some people say like, well, all so-called African Americans came from Africa. So like mostly everybody came from Africa. So they feel like, Africa may be the source. And then you have some people just don't have a clue what the source is. And especially with the coronavirus and things of that nature, like even what we used to know just 5 years ago, like I've been repeating over and over again, has been lost, especially with this virus coming out. And that's because it was always set up that way. See, it proves everything that I've really been teaching. So like when you think about cloning, kind of addressing the sister and a lot of the new followers, like to me, these are kind of like newer followers because I've been like, involved in this for a while. So like on different levels. So like, this new group that's in the 2020s or whatever in this era is like a new group of people, especially a lot of younger people. They weren't, they were children when we were talking about this stuff, 15 years ago, behold the pale horse and all of that stuff. So like a lot of this information may not necessarily be familiar to them, but then you got another group of people where it's like all of this is old news to them. They're like, I've been knowing about that. I've been rolling with Moors and knowing about cloning and experiments, and I've been rolling with 5%ers and all of that. So really what I want to first point out here is that before I get into any of the information, the first thing you have to realize is that the separation, like of what I just kind of broke down, like, and that's kind of what the sister was saying, but she never really, like when we were talking about the interview, she never specifically said it that way, but she was saying like it's a gap, and she wants her own space of a group of people that kind of just understand this without having to feel like, okay, I'm with these group of people, they don't understand this information, so let me, shape shift on this level type of thing, or dumb down on this level, type of thing. Like, why can't I just have my own space to just be me, and express everything that I know? And then not only that, why can't it be a group of people that resonate with this type of information? And why is it taking so long for the conscious community to get to that point where we get a community like that? And it's not really, we've had various different leaders try to do this, but again, the problem comes in with the gaperation and the different experiments, and that's just where I'll start out at. And I'm gonna stop here actually because I'm having to check out this room and go and move on. But when you get into the aspect of cloning and things of that nature, you have to first understand that a clone is a sample. So any clone is essentially created by a group, of course. So it's a sample, and a clone has an agenda, and a clone is given an agenda and information by a group of people or a think tank. So any clone, period, is created by a think tank. The first clones were created by somebody named Nergal, another being named Arishki Gal, in an experiment in a laboratory called Shimti. We learned this a long time ago, in the 5% Nation and other schools, how it was created in a laboratory called Shimti. So the first clones were like originally your so-called Homo erectus, or beings that came from Africa and things of that nature that were created by a higher ET type of group that came from a different future, a different time, and they began to introduce us to cloning. So what usually happens with clones is, and this is where I'll stop because this is where we're at, they usually rebel once they figure out that they're clones. See, most clones don't know they're clones until the end because they're lied to. It's a conspiracy. It's like the deepest MK Ultra ever. They give them adopted parents. They make them feel like these are their parents are in on it, everybody's in on it. And it's not to make people paranoid, so don't go around looking at your mom and daddy talking about like, oh, they may adopt me, I may be a clone. Like, you'll know as I continue to make these episodes, like what I'm talking about, and if you feel like this resonates with you. Because you have original people, duplicates, clones, and then AI intelligence. That's why I want to kind of point out the sister and all of this and the whole Borg agenda and transhumanism and all of this has to kind of be classified because this is a lot of people are getting all of this mistaken with clones. See, the first clones, like I said, came from Samaria, but there's up to I believe about 7 different dates and times and different experiments in cloning. And believe it or not, the last one, like I was telling the sister, took place in 1944. This is the one we live in now. So majority of the people that live on this earth now, they don't want to hear this. This is where it gets deep. It's related to this experiment in 1944. And I'll shut down there and I will pick back up. As always, stay vigilant. I don't mean to just do a teaser, but this is what I kind of had to do because of my situation. I have to just keep these videos going. Because I mean, I visit these videos as like a military flag, meaning like it's not about how many views it gets. As long as I continue to keep visiting them like before 24 hours or less, it stays in tune with my story, my soul group, my family. And got a lot of stuff I want to share with you guys, and we'll get into a space to do it. So, as always, stay vigilant, keep it moving. Hotep, namaste, wadu.